Welcome back to Voices of CFMA, brought to you by Premier Construction Software. This episode was recorded live on site at CFMA's annual conference and exhibition in Phoenix, so you may hear some of the energy of the event in the background. We hope it brings you right into the room with us. This episode features Tiffany Trang, CCIFP. Tiffany is a CPA whose path into construction finance began in 1990s Honolulu, and it traces all the way back to a childhood shaped by leaving Vietnam by boat in '78 and watching a country rebuild from the ground up. Tiffany shares how a mentor pulled her out of the background and into the boardroom, what earning her CCIFP credential meant for her credibility as an Asian woman in a male-dominated industry, and why she now serves as chapter president working to grow membership across Hawaii. She also opens up about Spring Creek, finding her voice, and the lesson that stuck with her the most. I hope you enjoyed this conversation about resilience, mentorship, and the connections that keep her coming back to CFMA year after year. Thanks.
Can we just start at the beginning? How did you get into construction? What was that path? What did it look like for you?
So I'm a CPA.
Okay.
I started dating myself here. I started in the early 90s.
Okay.
And I started with a small firm, CPA paper in Honolulu. And there's one partner, his passion is in construction, Tom Combina.
All right.
I remember I started in auditing with him, and it was always fascinating to listen to him talking about construction, the financing, and how he helped client getting their credits,
Right.
with bonding, because
Yeah.
that's all the needs. And then I think for myself, more so coming from Vietnam, seeing the destruction and the rebuild of everything. Part of construction is that it's from ground, or if not worse than that, it's from a
Right.
piece of dirt. And then next thing you see this building
And
that's
it's there.
and
Yeah.
it's there. And so it's just amazing,
awesome.
And so what happened was I kind of stay on that path with him, just getting to know clients and just trying to help, just kind of stay in that. And then being an auditor, you kind of have to know their industry. You have
Right.
to kind of know what they do. And so with that was a start. And then from there, I had a chance to work to a client who their CFO left.
Okay.
And he offered me the position. And in honesty, he's probably, talk about influence and talk about someone who gives you that opportunity,
Right.
that changes you. He's probably the individual that I would say. So he's my former boss, Richard. He gave me the opportunity, and being in Hawaii, in honesty, back in the 90s, I think it was a challenge. But he sort of knew I was also kind of on the passive side.
Right.
And so he kind of took me under his wing, put me next to him in meetings, and being in a meeting with mostly men. I guess construction industry, it's mostly men.
Yeah.
It was challenging. And so with that opportunity, he had me in. It was hard. But then I think that's when I was introduced to CFMA.
Okay.
And so this is in the 2000, early 2000.
Right.
I got introduced to CFMA, and I think from there on, I went to the local chapter, of course,
Okay.
and then back then it helped because then I got to know the officers and the members that were in there. They were like bankers and bonding agents, insurance agents, and other contractors. So it kind of helped, and I kind of saw the peer group, and everyone you just kind of talk about, and that the conference is what it's about too, right?
Right.
And so that's why Neil said about how, you come for the education, and then next thing you know, you get to know
Exactly.
people and the
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah.
So since then, actually, I've been a member, and then I think what pushed me to also wanted to further, I think, was have the struggle that I was having with, I think, which most CFO probably also struggle with, was operations and finance. And so I felt that with the education we have,
Yeah.
I guess with the education and then actually the certification,
Right.
the CCIFP.
Yeah.
So 2014 is when I got my certification.
Okay.
And then from there, because when you went through that certification, you kind of have to understand the operations as well as all the different aspects of construction that help. And so I pretty much took myself out into the field. So I actually went to the different job sites and then share with them rather than telling them what I need. I kind of just went to the different sites. So kind of learn what they do and then see how the two can work together.
Yeah. So what did it mean for you to get your CCIF? Especially as a woman in construction, a male dominated field, and an Asian woman in construction on top of that. What did that mean for you?
It gave me credibility.
Yeah.
And because it was only a handful that are in Hawaii, I actually got quite a bit of referral.
Okay.
Whether it's bond agents or bond banking.
Yeah.
So my practice has grown significantly, and I do a lot of one-on-one, and a lot of the referrals just because of my involvement and how I work with my client, because of my ability to link between CFO and CPA. I know the operation side, and then I also know the finance and what's required. And actually, not to mention, there's also the tax part that I do. So I pretty much take it from, connect the two.
Yeah.
But having the CCIFP help, like I said, it kind of gives credential, and it's almost like being the CPA. And
Right.
so just
Sure.
people just look for that.
Yeah.
The CCIFP, definitely.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to promote and trying to get more potential members to join. So that's why, and in honesty, I think because of what I've been doing, that's also a reason why I thought I gave the president position a try this year. So far, it's been interesting. I'm going to increase our general membership. And because I do a lot of one-on-one when I have clients or I have potential clients, and I just feel like there's that need. Just because till one-on-one, there's only 24 hours. I can't really do so much. So I thought if I do it this way, with the resources from CFMA and the contact that I have, I can do it in a much bigger, just I guess in one session versus, So I'm going to try and push more education and then do more connection so that people will know that there's resources, because that's how I stayed with CFMA all these years.
Right.
Every year I've been attending, except last year. It was a little bit too far, so
So that's over 20 years number, right? So how many conferences have you been to? Did you keep track?
I did not really keep track, but then I have to say the most, I remember the one in Orlando.
Yeah.
That.
Right.
Not this recent
the last
one.
one.
So, yeah.
What keeps you coming back to the conferences?
It's the education, of course, and then it's the people that you meet every year. Because, I ran into someone that, because I think, that can hurt.
So you mentioned construction in Vietnam. When did you come over to America?
I left. So my dad and we left in late 78 on a boat. We were on a boat, and then we were in a refugee camp, and then came to the U.S. in 1979, and then 79 first taste of America was Michigan, January no less.
Really?
Yes, it was right now winter. I still remember, and then from there, my dad had a friend in Hawaii that we went to because it was easier to sponsor other family members because our family kind of all separated on different journey. So everyone was on different refugee camps. So Dad and I went to Hawaii. We sponsored the rest of the family. That's when everyone joined. But the reason I mentioned Vietnam was just because it was, with the war and everything, that I've gone back since, and just the rebuild of it, it just adds more to, being in control. The industry itself just, has a lot of impact.
You're wearing your Spring Creek shirt. Last year, is that when you went?
Yes.
Because I think Lauren said you were in her session, right?
Yes.
Did you love it?
Yes. I was nervous at first going, as usual, just I'm usually more in the background, but I have to say that being in CFMA, it actually also kind of helped me to be a little bit more, speak up more.
Yeah.
Lauren was a big help. Last year, we were in the same group initially, and we were in the same group that did the scavenger hunt and everything. But, seeing what everyone went through and learning how to speak, which is my biggest fear, that really helped. That the Spring Creek got me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And the fact that I saw myself just going through it with just people I've never met before. I met Lauren and everyone else the first time. So that was really good. It just sing karaoke, no less.
Yes. I was in the next session after you guys. Okay. You guys were the first. Yeah. And I came a couple weeks later, and they threw you right into it. You can't hide. Todd will not let you be silent. Yes. He will make sure that you talk. But yeah, the scavenger hunt, karaoke, all of it takes everybody out of their comfort zone. And you just have to push through it. I think then you keep doing that, it gets a lot easier. Right. Yes, so yeah, I'm grateful for that too. And I think that it's a great experience, I think. And then you have that group for life. Like you see them again here and you talk about things, and it's really great.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's definitely, this organization does great. And I truly believe in it. And I think that's the reason why I wanted to just encourage more people in Hawaii to join. I was hoping to bring more up to the conference, but we do have about 5 or 6 of us this
that's
time.
Great.
Yeah, so maybe next year we'll try to bring more.
And you said you're going off-site somewhere after this too with them? You're all going?
So for team bonding, we're going to go to Sedona.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I got a car yesterday. We're gonna drive there today.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any advice over the years that's really stuck with you?
If anything at all, I think I just learned to speak up more, rather than just sitting there and just so this is part of the culture. Right. As an Asian woman, I guess more so for me, because coming from a family that just very traditional, and my parents are from China, so of course, going to Vietnam, I was born and raised there. Just female is just not you're just taught not to speak, nor are you the key role individual, but being, in the organization, seeing everyone speak out the way they did, and of course, being encouraged to speak, just that, because that's the only way you're going to be heard,
right?
I guess, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get frustrated and you just end up giving up.
Right.
So it's the message that comes across, being in the organization and just seeing how it impacts everyone. So it just almost makes you feel like you almost have to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you do the closing night party last night? Were you there? I didn't see you, but
yes,
I was all over the place.
Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I was bonding with some of my staff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I got to meet some other people. So
love it.
Yeah. It was good. the closing party was always good.
Yeah, they're sort of the little cherry on top.
Well, no, I wanted to thank you. To make it easier.
Thank you.
But I think, I was strongly encouraged for everyone or anyone to attend. It's one that every year I look forward to, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone do give it a chance. And what Leo said is correct. Like, you start with education because you wanted to learn.
Yep.
But once you come and you see the people, and then of course what you folks are doing actually, because with the website and everything, it makes it so much easier, to get to know people. And the Connection Cafe, it's helpful.
Yeah.
I've been on there and I just typed one sentence. I didn't know what kind of response. The next thing I know, I got all of these responses. So that just means that there's people out there listening and just ready to help. So I'm going to try and push that out when I get back. Help.
That's great. Awesome. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for sitting down with me, especially after the long night last night. I really appreciate it. But this has been fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for this.
That wraps this episode of Voices of CFMA. A huge thank you to Tiffany Trang for sharing her story from leaving Vietnam by boat to leading her chapter as president, and for the reminder that finding your voice can change the whole path of a career. And thank you to our sponsor, Premier Construction Software, for making this possible. And thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone in your industry who could use it. I'm Sal Marino, and we'll see you next time on Voices of CFMA. Thanks.